how to cut your taxes in half with an LTD as a UK developer. My name is Isaac, previous CTO of a funded startup, whatever, but more importantly for this video, I've been a contractor for about a year. LTD is a business, which essentially means to be able to leverage this approach, you fundamentally need to be able to charge your services as a business. In a lot of ways, you won't be able to do this as an employee because there's strictly legal things that prevent you from doing it because the government's not stupid. So even the whole IR35 thing can be kind of ambiguous. Some even contract jobs don't necessarily fit into what can be paid inside or outside of IR35. Essentially, if you're outside of IR35, that's when you can be your own limited and you can charge. If you're inside IR35, it kind of doesn't really matter because you get pre-tax before you're even paid. So you don't really get to save anything. Very important. I have another video explaining how you actually do set up this stuff for contracting, or I have a link somewhere, but I essentially just wanted to discuss fundamentally like how it actually works so people aren't sure, because I do get this question quite a bit. Okay, so basically the way it works when you are a contractor is you get paid a day rate. It's quite simple, and they fundamentally pay it to your company. It is a business-to-business transaction, and you need a company to set this up. Essentially, the way it works when you get paid is you don't actually take out a salary for yourself, so you kind of just live off the company. So if you're getting paid a salary, it's mandatory that PAYE is involved, which is basically the taxing system in the UK. In the UK, we actually do have quite heavy tax, so it's 20% from, I think it's like 12,500, which is all right as like a normal tax rate. But then when you get 45,000 and above, you get taxed 40. If you're paying VAT and you're making like 80K a year, 40% of your money is kind of getting taken, more or less. But the way this essentially works, if you don't have a salary, you can get paid in dividends, which is at the end of the year, the company can declare whatever profit it has to actually give to its directors or just people that have stock. By the way, this is actually a lot more easy if you're the only person in the company. If it's your own company, you're the only person, you have 100% of the stock. If different people have different amounts of the stock, they kind of need to get paid different share of the profit. It's a bit weird how it's distributed, but if you're the only person, it's very simple. And the way it works is throughout the year, whenever you use your business to essentially buy, purchase things, you know, I need food, I need drink, blah, 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 supplies, it comes out as a director's loan. So there's some things which are expensible, which are like, I recently had to buy a new laptop because I broke it. That actually comes out as a company expense because I need it for work. But if this is just like something, anything else, like, oh, I need furniture, I need blah, blah, blah. If it's something that can't be justified as a business expense, it basically comes out as a director loan, which, you know, directors can actually borrow money from the company. And then at the end of the year, dividends are issued to the value of whatever was borrowed throughout the year, which basically makes it net neutral. So it's a bit of a weird system, but essentially you don't actually pay yourself PAYE. And because of this, you only get taxed at the business rate, which is 20%. Right, I'm just gonna compare it to PAYE so you actually have an idea of what we're talking about. So let's say you hit the VAT threshold, so you're making 85,000 a year. Let's go PAYE calculator. Okay, if you're making 85,000 a year on PAYE, you get taxed 27,000 and your take home is 57,000. That's actually not as bad as I thought. You lose 20, nearly 30 grand. It's actually not too bad at that level. However, if you're doing the method that I'm talking about, you're looking at taking home like 68. So you actually, it's like 10K more, which is nearly a grand a month. If you start making higher numbers, you actually get taxed at a much more brutal rate with PAYE. So if you are making 120,000 a year, your take home is 72,000. You're getting taxed like 45, which is, it's a lot. However, the method I'm talking about, you're looking at taking home like 96,000. So there it's getting bigger. It's like, now it's like a 15K difference. Differences are kind of big. So it kind of just depends on how much you're making and if it's actually worth it. If you're making over 80,000 a year, you need to also pay VAT. But the great thing about that is it becomes net neutral because you just charge the company that is paying you to add VAT on top, which is really interesting. You kind of just charge for your services. They don't really mind because they get to claim it back at the end of the year. So the way it works is that you just mark up your prices by 20% and you say it's for VAT, and then we'll just pay you that extra. And all you do is you just have to save that, do not touch it, and then at the end of the year, that goes to the government. That's not yours. But this is also why you need an accountant, because it's kind of tricky to know what isn't yours, and you need someone that can understand and put these things in process for you. To be fair, I don't think it's terribly complicated. However, I just wouldn't risk it without an accountant because I just don't think it's worth the hassle. My account is 125 a month, which I think there are cheaper options out there, but for what they save me, I don't mind paying that. It's actually worth the money. The caveat of having your own business is you can pay your own pension, but then you don't get a company contributing to your pension because you are the company. You don't really get sick days from any jobs that you do, and just a lot of the like employment guarantee satisfaction stuff you don't have from the person that's contracting you. Whatever expectation of whether they actually set or have for you, they kind of can't expect it, although they can't enforce it because you're not a business. However, there's no like employee protection laws for yourself because it's your business. Okay, so I'm not sure who needed to hear this, but I do actually hear this question a lot because I think people are unsure about how the tax system actually works when you contract. But that's fundamentally it, and you do end up saving quite a bit of money just by not having to actually go through PAYE. If you found this helpful or you know someone else that would find this helpful, please send them this video. Thank you for your time.